Hello everybody, welcome back to Dominions 5. We are playing as Late Age Utgard, and it is turn 36. I'm hoping to finish recording this series in this recording session, so let's get to it. We have some diplomacy. Messenger has arrived from Mikland. Greetings, current allies. I'm hereby ending any naps. And he is saying, he's giving his reasons. So we're near the end of the game, right? Cataclysm is on turn 40. And so basically he's saying he needs to be flexible to get the thrones he needs to get. And he's also saying he doesn't really have any thrones near him geographically. And so he's not like going to be able to throne rush. But he's, he wants to keep his options open. So let's just look at, and another message specifically to us, basically saying the same thing. So he says, we had an app 3, so that means you have 3 turns to prepare for the change in our diplomatic status, including the turn you receive this message. And he's saying we don't want to invade you. Basically, he just wants this throne over here. This throne is what he's interested in, which makes sense. I totally understand that from his perspective. So right now it is turn 36, so he's saying 3 turns. So, in other words, he's not attacking me this turn. So if it was like a nap 1, he would attack me on turn 37. I could expect an attack. Nap 2 on turn 38, I can expect an attack. And now it's a nap 3, so on turn 39, I can expect an attack from Mikland. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Now let's look at let's look at the geography here. So Mikland has been fighting Ulm, and although he doesn't seem to have completely finished that war, he's obviously won it. Although apparently he doesn't have the capital yet. But if we look at his thrones, he has this throne over here. And I assume he has this throne here. Wait, do we know this? Let's check out the thrones here. Yeah, he's claimed 2 thrones. So that has to be this one and this one. I'm sure he could take this one if he wanted to from Pangaea, who is not doing so well, it seems, because if this is now all Satis and Pythium is in here, so Pangaea must be tiny. So he could probably take this from Pangaea if he wanted. But then up here in this direction, this is tough because he has to go. I mean, I guess his army is in position, but he'd have to go through a lot of forts, and plus Man happens to be conquering here. So he doesn't have a lot of options. Getting here is also tricky because I don't think his sacreds fly after they bless, but they don't fly normally, so he doesn't really have flying troops that he could hop over. He could go underwater here and get that potentially. So yeah, Mikland is not in a great position in terms of getting to 7 throne points. So this is actually the closest throne for him, which is kind of similar to my situation. I have these 2 thrones. I could grab this one if I wanted to, and I have an underwater one here that I could get to. But otherwise, I could go into Mikland here, I guess, for a throne, or I have to push deeper into Midgard, go past his cap, and siege down another big fort down here. So, and so the idea here is, in terms of the late game, if nobody can get a throne victory, then what we have to plan for is when the horrors start coming and maybe some thrones go down, like this 3-point Pythium throne goes down, then the total number of throne points required to win also diminishes. And at that point, maybe you didn't need 7 to win, maybe you need 6 or 5 or 4 to win. So can we get that? So he's thinking about, so he's ending his nap, and he's saying he could attack me in 3 turns. Let's go through the rest of the turn, and then we'll talk a bit about general strategy here, because we're still dealing with Midgard being feisty here. So, okay, what was going on here? I guess Pythium attack. Okay, it's not interesting. blood slaves. Our scout was assassinated. Okay. We took this. I guess he didn't even bother to put 1 PD in here. Okay, that happened. We conquered something. Oh, we'll watch this in a second. We killed some more PD here. Pirates, apparently. Okay, and Trine Citadel. Okay, so why don't we let's watch this battle at Satis. So here we have Satis, and I think what he's doing is he's breaking siege against Pangaea. So what seems to have happened in this war, actually, let's zoom out here for a second. What seems to have happened in this war is that Pangaea fought against Satis, and Pangaea had basically deathballed, and he had a giant army, which Satis was never able to beat, and that army has been parked on Satis's cap for 2 years. And Satis just went ahead and conquered everything else that used to belong to Pangaea. So even though Satis hasn't been able to use his cap for most of the game, it feels like to me, Pangaea has kind of collapsed, right? Now, I don't know for a fact that Pythium has been fighting Pangaea, but Pangaea is now tiny. But Satis, although he has gained a lot of territory, militarily he's also weak because he also hasn't been able to use his cap to recruit any cap-only things. And he has been fighting a lot, and so what seems to be happening now is that Pythium is coming up and taking all of Satis's land also. So both Satis and Pangaea have kind of destroyed each other and left themselves weak for their neighbors to come in and grab territory, which is what Pythium appears to be doing here. So let's take a look at this battle here that happened on Satis. And we've seen a couple of other battles between these two. What's up here? Oh, Vermin Feast. So Pangaea casts Vermin Feast, reduces the supplies inside the castle. It tries to starve you out. So maybe his guys are starting to get diseased because of starvation. I'm not sure. So Pangaea doesn't have a huge amount of stuff. He's got, just a couple of mages. Actually, there's a few mages in front. And the late age Pangaea is basically very high protection, pretty beefy guys. These trampling berserker battle axes, and then heavy cav. And Satis has one guy with a lot of blood slaves and death gems, a bunch of chaff, and another mage here, more chaff here. So there's a lot of chaff. I'm not sure. Let's see what spells happen. So there are... Well, I want to see what this guy's casting. Because on the other side, yeah. So there's some skeletons. What's this guy doing? Just horde of skeletons? That's an odd... If you have all these gems and all these blood slaves, then why are you doing horde of skeletons first turn? That seems strange. Let's see if he does anything interesting here. Why is he just spamming horde of skeletons if he has all the gems? Anyways, gifts from heaven are happening because these guys are Earth Astral, so if you communion them up, then they become like Earth 2, Astral 2, then you summon Earth power, and then you can do gifts from heaven, so that's fun. Yeah. So he's... is he a prophet? No, I'm not sure why he's Holy 4. Whatever, he's not using these slaves or the gems. I'm not sure what the point was. Anyways, we blinked and the chaff is all routing because it's just chaff, right? And this is way better chaff. I mean, it's not really chaff, it's heavy cav. Plus mage support. So yeah, this did not go well for Satis. So Satis still does not have his cap, and now probably his cap will fall because that was all the chaff that was inside, and the walls are probably going to fall soon. Okay. Was there anything? Okay, so in terms of our defending against the raids from Midgard, that's pretty much taken care of. I don't see any more raids in here. We are sitting on his cap with scouts, just because, like, he didn't bother to break siege, which is interesting. So we're just being annoying because he's being annoying. So take that. And generally speaking, we're just redistributing our forces. So we're going to move back, whatever army we have in this area over here. We are preparing to make a play on the water throne, and we'll talk about this maybe more in the next turn, but we're bringing our thugs in here, and we're making preparations. I'll get into more details in a moment. We're going to bring a bit of an army back up onto this throne, because now we need to redistribute our army to protect our thrones for the cataclysm. So I'm peeling off a few giants, and we're going to move them back up here. And then we're also moving a big chunk of our army down this way because we are going to go and take this throne in the next couple of turns. That's the general plan. So our plan in terms of trying to win is, well, we currently have these two thrones. So we have this throne and this throne, only 2 points. This one is worth 2 points, so that could give us 4. And this one is 1 point, and so that could give us 5. So if we're able to grab all these thrones and hold on to it, and Cataclysm just so happens to, reduce the point total, then we could win that way. So that's our general strategy. So in terms of So in terms of how we're going to take this, I'm just getting ready to gear a few thugs to go underwater. So we're going to need to forge some rings of water breathing, but I think we're not doing that yet. I guess next turn I'm doing that. Looks like it. In terms of what were we at in research? Sorry, it's been a while. I was making my way up to blood, I guess 7, but I think I wanted 8 for eventually rush of strength. I think that was the idea. Maybe in retrospect, maybe questionable because the game is not going to go on that long. So maybe I would have been better served with I don't know, something else. I don't know what else. Could I? I mean, maybe Alteration 7. I don't know. Yeah, Alteration 7 would have been a better goal, I think, at this point. But that's that. So why don't we just load up the next turn and we'll go into more details into our late game plans there. So let's, or actually, we'll keep these episodes short. So this was just a kind of a slow turn, even though the end is coming soon. We have, stabilized in our war against Midgard. He might raid me a little bit more, but that's basically contained. We're gathering some thugs here to get ready to go underwater. We are redistributing our armies to have a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here to strike at this throne. Miklin says he's going to attack us in 3 turns. And Cetis is kind of collapsing over here. And that is the state of the game. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.